Welcome back everyone, it's Stephanie from Glitterful. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're looking to learn fun and easy glitter tumbler designs and DIY crafts, start today by subscribing to our channel below. Become that glitterholic and click that notification bell to always know when I upload. Hey guys, alright, so for your basic supplies, you're going to pick out your serape colors. I googled mine and then I just followed what was on my screen. I'm also using double-sided tape. I'm using my handy dandy foam noodles so I can hold my cup, and then basic cutting supplies. Alrighty guys, so I decided I'm going to make my cup half serape and half design. So what I'm doing here is I'm separating the halves with painter's tape. You'll see that I didn't do such a good job with my spray paint, but I'm not worried about it because that whole background is going to be covered by the serape, so I'm not too focused on it. Now if I was doing a full glitter base, then I would want my background to be neat, but because this is being covered, I'm not stressing about it. So you'll want to use your double-sided tape to make the best line that you can, guys. And remember, this is art. You could try making it the best perfection that you can. Just don't go crazy about it. I'm doing the best that I can with my painter's tape. All right, guys. So once you have separated your sides, I'm going to start by using my double-sided tape. I bought my double-sided tape from eBay. I'll have the link below. This design was taught to me by one of our glitterholics on our group, Glitter Tumbler Epoxy Hacks Beginners to Advanced, and you'll find that link below. I'm going to be using my scissors and an X-Acto knife so that I can get the most precise cut that I want, meeting each painter's tape side to each painter's tape side. I hope that makes sense. I do have my laptop pulled up next to me so that I can see the serape like widths as well as colors. I am using different sizes of my double-sided tape, and you'll see that throughout the process. Do not remove that brown backing until we're ready to glitter, and you'll see why, because each one obviously is sticky, so it'll capture the glitter as we go on. So we just want to take those off as we go. So you'll see that in the next upcoming, but for right now, all we want to do is just set up that pattern, alternating the different widths. Okay, so once you are done laying down your double-sided tape, you're going to grab a pen or a Sharpie. I realized that the Sharpie was easy to come off, so I decided to use a pen instead. Like I said before, I did have my laptop on the side showing me the serape design so that it can give me kind of an idea of the width of each layer as well as the color pattern that I was looking for. So I did grab a pen. As you can see, I started with a Sharpie, but it was coming off pretty easily. So I did grab a pen and I just started to label each double-sided tape layer with the color that I wanted to put there. It just made what I needed to do and what color so much easier and more in my face so that I didn't mess up my own design. So however it is that you work, that's fine. But for me, I found it easier just to label the color that I was going to use on that layer. Again, I did I did a random Google search, Serape, and I found the one that called to me, and then that's the color pattern that I used. So once you're done labeling, I'm going to go ahead and grab my X-Acto knife so that I can create the straightest line that I can, meeting that painter's tape that I started with so that I have the best straight line that I can. And let me tell you guys, I am not the best with straight lines, but I'm okay with that because I do have plans for my non-symmetrical self for the next go around. But if you're better at me with symmetry, then good for you. But I am using my X-Acto knife to kind of meet the ends so that I know where it is that the glitter will stop and start. Once you're done with your X-Acto knife and making that straight line, you want to go ahead and start with your darkest color of your Serape. So I am using my weeding tool to pick up that backing so that I can start glittering my cup. I start to pull one by one, and I will always start with my darkest color. The reason being is because I don't want to start with the lighter color and then my darker color then falls onto my lighter colors and then kind of blurs it a little bit. So we're doing the best that we can by starting with our darker colors. So you'll see here with double-sided tape, it kind of works just like tack it. You're going to apply there, and then you're just going to use your fingers and rub that glitter into that line because that is how you're going to get the best coverage in there. So again, just like tack it, apply the glitter into there and then rub along the line. So this black color here that you'll see is City Island. I will have all the colors that I used in this tutorial listed on my description below. So in case you want to follow along, and you can get all these colors at glitterful.com. Once you're done, go ahead and use a clear coat sealant to ensure that your glitter doesn't move during epoxy. Once you're done and your clear coat has sealed and dried, go ahead and remove your painter's tape. Once you're done removing your painter's tape, go ahead and use some more painter's tape, meeting the edge of the serape, and cover that up so that you can go ahead and use whatever background color that you're planning to use. I'm using orange because I plan on using my orange glow glitter so that we can have some cool glow in the dark effect happening. All right, so once your spray paint has dried, I am going to be using Mod Podge. You can use whatever your heart desires. If you want to use epoxy, that's totally fine as well. I just found that using Mod Podge for this particular design was just easier for me, only because that means I only have to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes tops so that it can all dry and I can get it under epoxy. So I am using Mod Podge, and I am using the clear version. I'm lining up best as possible to that serape. And then remember, guys, I like to add a thick coat of Mod Podge, but I do not like to see any streaks, because when it comes to glue, any type of glue, if you have like a lump or hump, it's going to show with your glitter. So you want to have the most even coat as possible. I'm adding a second layer of Mod Podge because I do want a really nice coat of glitter on there, because I really want that glow in the dark effect to come through. I'm adding some black acrylic paint to my Mod Podge, and I'm going to go ahead and use that for the base of my cup, or the bottom base of my cup, and I'll be using Fifth Ave for the bottom. Then I'm going to let this dry and get it ready for epoxy. So while our glitter is drying, I'm going to go ahead and start setting up our lid. So I'm whipping up a batch of epoxy. I will be using Fifth Avenue glitter, which is our chunky black holographic glitter. I will be adding that directly into the measuring cup that the epoxy was whipped up in. And I will be adding that into our car coastal mold. I find that the car coastal mold is the perfect size for the lids, so just get it to the consistency that you're looking for. When the epoxy is wet like this, I start to add my flowers. So these flowers I actually bought from Michael's, and I absolutely love them. It's enough for just the two. Once your cup is dried, you can go ahead and start adding your first layer of epoxy. I am doing a flood coat because I want it as thick on there as possible. I always, for all of my chunky glitter, I do add a clear coat of clear sealant so that there aren't any crevices that my epoxy can go through underneath, causing any bumps or ridges. It just, for me, it helps my process. Alrighty guys, so we're going to be using these lace stockings so that we can create some cool background effect here. I'm wiping my cup down with alcohol. Then I'm going to be sticking my cup into these lace stockings and just holding them tight from edge to edge so that I can really hone in on that design. I will be using the painter's tape to cut off from end to end where the serape is so that I don't get any spray paint on the serape. I will be using black spray paint so that I can get that design. Alrighty, guys. So while my spray paint is drying on the stockings, which by the way, I will add a note here. Do not remove the stockings before your spray paint is dried. I am going to be using our UV resin so that I can make the magnet stick to the lid, as you can see here. So what I'll be doing is for each magnet, I'm going to be using 3 of them side by side and on the lid cover. Be very careful not to get any resin on the actual lid track. So where the mouth opening comes on, you don't want to get it within those tracks, because then your the lid will not slide up and down. So there will be absolutely no way that you'll be able to open or close that lid. So I always start with it open, so in the event that I kind of screw up like that, it's open. But I just do my very best not to mess up on getting epoxy in that lid. So for UV resin, you will need that UV light that you see that I'm using. I bought that one off of Amazon, guys. It was like 20 bucks. Well worth it. I use it a lot. I did find that if I would have just went with using the 2 sides instead of all 3, I probably would have had a better experience. So if you wanted to get away from just doing that center and doing on the 2 sides, I would say go for it, because it just evens it out a little bit better. But still no complaints. My lid does detach and attach awesome, but I do find that maybe the 2 sides were probably easier. I always go for the gusto, so I went with 3 instead. Alrighty, so while we did all that lid stuff, this cup finally dried, and it is safe to go ahead and start pulling at that stocking. So I am unraveling both sides that I pinned down with a rubber band, and I am pulling gently. Even though it is dry, I don't know, I'm just super cautious about it. So I'm pulling the cup carefully, or the stocking off the cup carefully, and take a look. Well, bam, look at that cool design that we got there. And literally you can do that with any type of lace or stocking that you want. I just thought that this was perfect. I had a vision in my brain, and bam, that's what we went with. So I'm attaching that to my Mouse Bros spinner, and I will be epoxying this cup so that we can seal that on there. Once your cup is thoroughly dried, I did seal off my cup with painter's tape to prevent the serape from being affected with this power wash technique. So I'm using Dawn Power Wash, and I am spraying in the areas that I do not want my white paint to be on there. And then I do have a cup of water on the side. I spray a little bit more because I want that lace to really showcase as well. It is a part of the design. So I do go ahead and add my white spray paint on there. And after I'm fully satisfied with the white spray paint, I do grab my cup of water and I pour that over. And then you're going to let this bad boy dry. Once your cup is ready to dry, you're gonna go ahead and you can do whatever design you want on there. I'm going to be using this awesome skull candy woman here, which is a water slide, and I'm adding some water on the cup so that it gives me some more movement there. I did seal my water slide. It's just force of habit, guys. You can do it. If you don't want to, that's fine. I did do it mirror on, so therefore I can just put the design straight onto the cup and slide it right off into that center, which is why I gave this cup a white power wash, because I needed a white background so that you can really see that design come through. Look at that. So you're just going to want to remove any water bubbles that you may have underneath. So once you're done doing that, you're going to let this one dry and then add epoxy. So I jumped the gun a little bit, guys. Before I add the epoxy, do you guys remember when we were talking about that symmetry there? How I had that line that you can see, that you can still see basically the part. Well, I am using some gold flakes here so that I can create this really cool border so that you don't have to see that partition there. So I'm using Mod Podge again and some gold flakes to create a really cool border. Throughout this technique, I learned a couple of things because I don't use gold flakes a lot on my cups. This is one of the first times that I'm actually doing it. At first, I started off a little bit more aggressively with the flakes. I would add them and then I would kind of rub them on. What I did learn is that on a cup versus in resin pieces, where in resin pieces you would just add the gold flakes and then they kind of swim on their own. For when you're adding them directly onto the cup, they actually need to be placed and not rubbed. They need to kind of be pressed down so that they create this really cool kind of gold laying effect. So you're gonna see here throughout my laying process that I learned a lot about that, which is okay. I'm all about learning and learning new things. So with gold flakes, this was definitely a new territory for me, but I did have fun. I did use the makeup like blending tool at first, but then I found that using my fingers was so much better. So if you have any other techniques for using the gold flakes, let me know because I am officially obsessed. So guys, I'm using Mystique's counterpart, Phoenix, which is our most amazing glitter. I'm using Phoenix. He is super fine, and you can add it into epoxy. It will not blur whatever it is that you're doing. Just add the perfect amount of shimmer. But since we're using the gold flakes, I thought Phoenix was appropriate. So those of you that have been with me from the beginning know that I literally add Mystique to everything. So adding Phoenix just only seemed more appropriate, and I just cannot wait to see the shimmer off on this cup. Hey guys, so here is our finished version of this cup. I cannot tell you how excited I was to finish this Day of the Dead cup. I just love the serape, that recreation that I did here, as well as this borderline of gold flakes. But I think I love the image as much, as well as all the intricate lace design, and we used the power wash technique. So we used a lot of techniques in here, but this cup was so well worth it. Remember that the lid is removable so that your customer or you can even wash your lid without a problem. So it's really cool because it's attachable there. And your straw still fits. So I absolutely love this cup, guys. And if you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel below, and don't forget to tag us when you make your recreation of this cup at glitterful.com on Facebook and on Instagram. Guys, I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to start a whole new year of more creations of cups. So, and everything else, honestly, because I have a lot of things in my brain. So I can't wait to see you all soon. Have a glitterful day. Bye.